Steinbeck. Today I'm going to talk about Cannery Row by John Steinbeck. I read it in 2009 and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I wrote this about it in July of that year. The writer in me was inspired while reading this. I am a Steinbeck novice, but adored his shotgun vignettes of this little microcosm. I never felt particularly attached to any character, but was consistently interested in learning about them from my third-person perch. His blatant sarcasm is masterful. I am in awe of his ability to precisely create an emotion, ambiance, or moment with the use of contrasting terms. On their own, they could not define his ideas, but the tug of war they create together points to an accurate feeling reality that is rarely occupied by absolutes. My only concern with the book is that it may be too smart for me. I was content to appreciate the stories at the base level, without any real understanding of greater meaning or overarching metaphor. While I know I would be unable to provide a profound, insightful essay in an English or humanities class about the text, I totally enjoyed the colorful stories of Cannery Row. I call myself a Steinbeck novice because I haven't read the big Steinbeck books. I haven't read The Grapes of Wrath. I haven't read Of Mice and Men. The ones that I read In Dubious Battle in college in a geography course. And then I read this. I think the interesting thing, the reason why I like it so much, or the reason why I want to talk about Steinbeck as an author, is even without those ones that sort of everyone knows and everyone loves, I found ways to sort of appreciate Steinbeck in a way that I really like. Cannery Row, in the Goodreads write-up on Cannery Row, they talk about it as it's a book without much of a plot. And I use the words shotgun vignettes. There's all these sort of little blurbs about people that lived in the time that Steinbeck wrote about. And it was just really great, talking about Monterey, California, and the Cannery District and all the different personalities and just the colorful language that he uses. Later on in this series, in 2017, I read a book called Letters of Note, and it is just a collection of different letters of different people, different famous people that are about famous events or about really sort of interesting things about these famous people. And there's a letter from Steinbeck to his son, and it is just another sort of window into the way that Steinbeck uses language. And when we get to 2017, I think I'm going to read it in its entirety from the book because it's so good, if I can do that. I'm not sure about copyright law for that. The other thing that's interesting about this in terms of my life is that I said I read it in July of 2009, or I posted the review at that point. This is going to end my 2009 because in August of 2009, I had my first son. And so the books kind of take on a different thing from this point going forward, in that there's going to be some new categories, books that I read aloud to my kids and things like that. So there's some interesting twists on books there as we go forward. So this was dealing with a newborn after this from August through December. So it kind of ended my reading for a while, but I had a great experience with Cannery Row here, and I definitely recommend it for people looking to sort of dabble in Steinbeck or look at something that's a little bit different than the ones that everybody knows about, to get a taste of the way that Steinbeck writes, and really what I really see as a masterful way of describing the world. That sort of contrasting terms, the tug of war, the things like that. It's stuff that I don't really know how to do in my own writing. I talked about in the review that it inspired the writer in me. It inspired me to grow, inspired me to do new and different things. And I loved it. And I think anyone looking for a classic or an interesting book by a classic author would enjoy this. Cannery Row by John Steinbeck. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads.